They fired her for helping a hungry veteran. What happened next involved 4 Marines. Before we dive into this story, let us know in the comment where are you watching from. So let's dive in. Did you just give him free food? The manager barked, his voice slicing through the soft diner chatter. Every head turned as the suited man pointed a furious finger across the booth at Denise, the waitress. She froze, napkin still clutched in her hand, standing beside an elderly man in a faded military jacket who looked up, startled and wide-eyed. The entire room paused, forks in mid-air, as the tension hit like a thunderclap. The manager stepped closer, his face red. "This isn't a charity. He didn't pay, did he? You gave it to him. That's theft. You're fired." He didn't whisper it. He wanted everyone to hear. Denise's face crumpled in disbelief. "He's a veteran," she said, her voice shaking. "He hadn't eaten in 2 days." The old man lowered his head, humiliated. But the manager wasn't moved. "This isn't a soup kitchen, it's a business. Pack your things." He turned to storm off, but the diner had gone eerily quiet. Something had shifted. A man in the back booth stood up. Then another, and another. 4 men, all in civilian clothes, but unmistakably cut from the same cloth. Broad-shouldered, disciplined posture, silent intensity. They didn't yell, they didn't threaten. They just walked forward, calm and controlled, stopping near Denise and the elderly veteran. One of them, tall with a sleeve of military tattoos, half covered by his flannel shirt, looked at the manager and said, "You're making a mistake." The manager scoffed, trying to assert control. "Excuse me, who even are you?" "We're Marines," the man said plainly, "and he's Sergeant Thomas Riley, Vietnam, 3 tours." Silver Star. His voice didn't rise, but the air in the room tightened. Sergeant Riley sat frozen, lips trembling, eyes glassy. Denise placed a hand on his shoulder. "He didn't ask for anything," she whispered. "I just saw his hands shaking when he looked at the menu. I couldn't walk past that." Another Marine stepped forward. "This man fought for this country before most of us were born. You think she did something wrong for showing basic human decency?" He pulled out his wallet and placed several $100 bills on the counter. His meal, her shift, covered. The manager's face twitched, but his authority was dissolving by the second. People in the diner were filming now, murmuring, shaking their heads. Denise stood silently, her fists clenched at her sides, still shocked by how fast things escalated. But then Sergeant Riley spoke. Softly at first. "I was hungry, yes. But I was also invisible. Nobody's looked at me like a person in weeks." His voice cracked. "She did." Silence. Then one of the Marines, this one older, maybe late 40s, looked around the diner. "How did we get to a place where kindness is punished and disrespect goes unchecked?" He looked the manager straight in the eye. "You fired the wrong person today." And with that, the unexpected happened. Every single Marine turned, walked over to Denise, and shook her hand. The last one, his voice heavy with emotion, said, "You didn't just serve food today. You served honor. That matters." They escorted Sergeant Riley to a seat of honor by the window and sat with him, talking and laughing. Denise refilled their coffee with tears in her eyes. She wasn't an employee anymore, but they treated her like family. Moments later, another customer stood and addressed the room. "Who wants to make sure this man never goes hungry again?" Wallets opened. Bills landed on the table. Tips were thrown down in piles. People offered job referrals to Denise, business cards, even rides. And the manager? He stood alone in the center of it all, outnumbered not by force, but by heart. That night, the video went viral. Over 10 million views in 24 hours. People didn't share it because of outrage. They shared it because of hope. Because in a world often starved of compassion, one woman feeding one man reminded everyone what it means to be human. The next day, the diner's corporate office issued an apology. The manager was let go. Denise was offered her job back. She politely declined. She had 6 job offers by noon. As for Sergeant Riley, a local non-profit set him up with housing. The 4 Marines visited weekly, and Denise, well, she now runs her own food truck. It's called The Second Serving. Veterans eat free, because sometimes the smallest act of kindness ignites the biggest ripple, and sometimes what looks like a firing turns out to be the moment everything good begins. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.